So hello there. Now you remember in my last video I talked about some of the things to be aware of before you start an exercise program, and I talked a bit about blood pressure. I showed you how to take it. What I didn't mention, and I meant to say, was it should be about 120/80. Now we used to take blood pressure all the time when I was an instructor, and what we used to look for is if it was 140/90 or 145/95, that was sort of borderline, and that was the level we'd say to people, look, just keep an eye on it. It's a little bit high, and just keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't go any higher. If, however, we got 160/100, we'd normally say go to the doctor and just get a doctor's note, get whatever medication you need. So that was just something we used to do because it can be risky starting an exercise program with high blood pressure. Now today what I want to talk about is fitness testing, and what I mean by fitness testing is some of the things you can do to measure your progress. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is body fat. And I wanted to talk a bit about this because I'm going to show you how to measure your body fat percentage. So you might be thinking, well, why is that important? Well, in the last video, you remember me jumping on the scales and I came up about 192 pounds, which is 87 kilos. Now, taking a body fat percentage and finding out what my body fat is a good way to see if I'm the right weight or not. So there is a range where you should be. There's like an ideal range, and you can be very lean or you can be moving towards overweight and obese. I'm also going to show you some measurements that are very useful to take if you want to monitor your weight loss, and they're a good way to monitor how you're losing body fat. And I'll show you also a couple of measurements that are good to take if your goal is to gain muscle. Okay, so to take a body fat measurement, what you do is you need a pair of these, and these are called skin calipers. So I'm going to show you how to use these now. So basically what you do, you take a skin fold above the hip bone, there. So there's your hip bone, an inch above. So you're looking about there. And you put the calipers on it, like so. And you squeeze until the arrows measure up. So get a closer shot of that. Okay, so just in case you couldn't see in the video, there's a little diagram. That's where you take the skin fold an inch above the hip bone. So it's called the suprailiac skin fold. Okay, so I'm just now looking at the chart for men. So my average score was 19. So what you do is you look at the top of the chart, that's got the millimeters and the measurement. And then you look at across, it's got the age. So you just meet in the middle. Now I got 19, so 2021 is a bit high. 23.9 is for 18-19. I'm going to call it 24%. I am 48, so I'm in the 46 to 50 category. So 24% body fat for me. Now, you tend to gain body fat as you age. So as you can see on this chart, you've got lean, ideal, average, and over fat or obese. So for a young guy, 21 to 25, the ideal range would be anywhere from sort of 10 to sort of 13-14%. And as you gain body fat as you get older, if you look at, for example, my age group, 46 to 50, the ideal range would be more like 17% to sort of 22%. So I need to come down a little bit, but I would like to get lean, so that would be good. But you can see on there the different age ranges. But if you are, for example, up here, over fat or obese, you can see where you need to come down from. But as a general rule of thumb, around 25% and over is generally regarded as over fat or obese. Okay, for women it's slightly different because women generally have more body fat. So if you look at a 21 to 25, the ideal is sort of 20 to 23-24%. For 46 to 50, you're looking at 25 to sort of 28-29%. And as a general rule of thumb, if you look at basically 32 generally and over, 32% and over is generally over fat or obese. Okay, so now the reason I showed you this test is because it's really simple. You only have to take one skin fold measurement. So this is handy if you're taking it yourself. Now, there are various tests you can do to take your body fat. There's a 3-point test. So you take, for example, front of the bicep, back of the arm, the tricep, subscapula on your back. There's even one where you can take 7 points, but obviously you can't do that yourself. You have to get someone else, like an instructor or a personal trainer, to do that for you. But this test is really good because you only have to take one skin fold measurement, and you can do that yourself because it's easy to reach with the calipers. You can do, obviously, so you take the 3 measurements, you take the average of the 3. You can even take it on both sides and get the average between both sides of your right and your left side. I just did the right side, and I got an average of 19. Okay, so we've measured body fat, and mine came out at 24%, which I'm hoping to reduce over the next weeks and months. Now, you know that you can go and test your body fat because all you've got to do is buy a cheap pair of calipers for a few pounds, and you can test it yourself because it's an easy to reach site that I showed you. Now, when I used to test people at the gym, we used to use these really expensive calipers. They were several £100s, and they were very accurate. But I've often found, because I used to compare the plastic ones that I showed you, I used to compare the measurement. I'd do the skin fold test with the professional ones and then with the plastic ones, and they're actually very accurate for what they are. So feel free to buy a pair and use them, and you can be confident they're going to give you a pretty accurate reading. Okay, so when I was an instructor, people used to come in the gym for the first time, and the men always used to say, I want to work on my tummy, I want to get my stomach down, and I want to build up my arms. And the women always used to say, I want to work on my hips and my legs, my bum and my tummy. So because of that, I'm going to show you a few measurements you can take that will cover all the bases for whatever you want to achieve, whether you're a man or woman or whatever your goals are. So I'm going to start off showing you some measurements. The first one I'm going to show you is how to measure the waist. So when measuring the waist, what you do is you pull the tape tight enough, but you don't want it really tight, just want it kind of taut. And you want to take the measurement just below the belly button, and you want to make sure that the tape is straight. So whether you're from the side or from the front, you can see the tape measure is straight and level, and that's coming up at, oh dear, 39 inches. So you saw me get 39 inches for my waist measurement, and I thought I'd just mention that these measurements were taken a couple of days ago, so hence the blue t-shirt. Now, some people say they like to measure the waist above the navel or the belly button. Some people prefer to measure it below, like I did. There's another school of thought. You take the measurement right in between the bottom of the ribs and the top of the hip bone. So you take the line right in the middle, which for me, when I measured that, it went right across the top of the navel. I prefer to measure it underneath. So you can measure it wherever you prefer. Just make sure that you always take the measurement in the same place for future reference. So next up, I'm going to take a measurement of the chest and show you how I do it. Basically, you want the tape level with the sort of nipple line. So I'm going to just take my chest measurement so you can see. Okay, so when measuring the chest, what you do, you want to get the tape nice and straight. So from the front, you can see the tape is straight, and from the side is nice and straight. And you want to be relaxed. You don't want to be breathing in or out or flexing or anything like that. You just want to be nice and relaxed. And you want to pull the tape not tight or loose. You just want the tape nice and taut. So if you go in close, you can see it's about 44 inches. Right, so you just saw me take a chest measurement. I got 44. On closer inspection, it's probably more like 43 3/4. Now you notice I'm being quite specific with the measurements, and there's a reason for that. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you're making much progress, but if you take the measurements as accurately as possible, say on this tape, you've got those little lines in between the inches are 1/8 of an inch. So you can take an 1/8, 1/4 inch measurement if you need to, and those little bits make a difference. So you might think you're not actually losing any body fat and your waist hasn't gone down at all, and it has gone down maybe 1/4 of an inch. So try and get the best measurement you can. Okay, so next up I'm going to be measuring the thighs, both sides, and just make sure when you do this measurement that you spread your weight evenly on each side. 24, about 24 just under for the one on the left. So that's coming up 24 or just under. These are very thin, these shorts, so they're not making much difference. So it's 24 or just under for the one on the right. Okay, right, so those are the three most important ones. So taking a measurement of the waist, the chest and the thighs, whether you're male or female, and if you're trying to lose weight, those are three very crucial measurements to take. And what you can do is over the next few months, if you keep monitoring those, you'll see those measurements gradually go down over time. Now, I would say for women, additionally, it'd probably be worth taking a hip measurement. And just going to show you how to do that now. Pull the tape round. Same old thing, keep it nice and straight. You want it around the widest point, and there you go. Right, so the last one you might want to take is the top of the arm. So for women, you might want to know this one because often women talk about they want to work on the back of their arms. They want to lose body fat. So you can take a measurement at the top of the arm, and all you do, it's the same principle as when you take a thigh measurement. So you're going to measure at the top of the arm, just like you did at the top of the thigh, because that's the thickest part. So you just basically put the tape around the thickest part of your arm, take a measurement, and you're good to go. Right, so like I mentioned earlier, some people are going to be interested in gaining muscle. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of measurements for that. Generally, if you want to gain muscle, it's worth measuring at least your biceps and your chest. You can measure other things as well, but I'm just going to show you those two for now. It tends to be a lot of the guys that are interested in gaining muscle and sort of bulking up, but it can be some women are interested as well. So this goes for girls and guys, just the same way that some guys want to lose weight, but it's generally the guys that seem to want to pump up their biceps and their chest. So I'm going to show you how to take a bicep measurement now. Right, so this is what you do. You basically take the measure about the middle of the upper arm, you flex it and pull the tape tight. So I'm getting about 14 and a bit, 14 and a quarter, maybe 14 and a quarter at the most. Okay, normally you've got one side better than the other. It's a real pain in the neck trying to get this tape tight. You need to get someone to do it for you if you can. I haven't done it myself today. But yeah, so what's that? 13 and 3/4. Right, you saw me get 14 inches for the left one and 13 3/4 for the right. So not very impressive, I know, because I'm not doing any weight training, but it's a starting point. So if you're going to start training your weights and doing bicep curls, you got somewhere to work from. So hopefully over the months you'll see that go up. I'm actually trying to lose body fat, so now that's another thing. If you're weight training and you're trying to lose body fat at the same time, you might see your bicep measurement go down slightly, where you're hanging on to the same amount of muscle but you're losing a bit of body fat. So I suspect that's probably going to happen to me. So that's how to measure your bicep. Okay, so we've already done a chest measurement, but if you're into weight training and bulking up, one of the things you might have heard about when, for example, bodybuilders talk about their chest measurement, what they often speak about is an expanded chest measurement. So basically that means is it's flexed and not relaxed. So when I showed you the measurement earlier, as I said before, it was relaxed. But when you take an expanded measurement, all you do, I'm not going to do it, but you basically breathe in and you basically tense your pectoral muscles and your lats. So basically all the muscles around your chest, you just tense and breathe in and you take the measurement. Now it should go up about an inch or so. Some very muscular bodybuilders who got huge chests, they can expand their chest like 3-4 inches. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a 57-inch expanded chest. Now I don't know what it was relaxed, but it would have been a few inches less than that. So that's another one that you can try as well, especially as you start bulking up and gaining muscle. Right, so today we've talked about body fat, how to measure it. I showed you how you can do it yourself with a pair of calipers. I've showed you what the different scores kind of mean. So you've got different levels: average, lean, overweight, and figuring out where you kind of want to be. So it's about goal setting, isn't it? And the other one we talked about today was various measurements, depending when you want to lose weight or you want to gain muscle. Some of the measurements that you can try taking. So in the next video, part 2 of fitness testing, I'm going to show you how to measure your aerobic capacity or your cardiovascular fitness. I'm going to show you how I do it. There's various ways to do it. I'm also going to show you how to test how well your lungs are actually working, which is pretty important. And also we're going to look at flexibility and a few other things. So my flexibility is terrible. I'm trying to improve it. As you know, although I've done a lot of fitness stuff in the past, I used to be a lot fitter, a lot more muscular. My body fat percentage was a lot lower. I'm now in my 40s trying to get back to something like what I was before. So for me, it's a work in progress. I'm just trying to give you the information so that you can do the same. So I hope you found today's video helpful and informative, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So see you later.